technically.
All right. Welcome to the Friday night show, folks. Right now, we're having a look at Levi's crazy gym.
Yeah, this is in our. This is actually in our apartment complex. Believe it or not. So I'm the only one here right now. Dead middle of the night. The lights are actually off over here because no one's here. So like, there's a lake facing that way. It's my favorite thing though. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on the light for y'all because I got my favorite thing in the entire gym over here. There it is, the heavy bag.
Hell yeah!
This is my baby. I'm gonna do some work on this. We got the CrossFit.
You get your angle off or what?
Your boy over here doing wind sprints at midnight. But how you gentlemen doing? It's been a while.
Doing great.
Doing pretty good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah. Thank you, McNiner, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. I like inviting all my peoples.
Thank you.
Red Jet, I'm not sure if I have you on any social media.
Who, me?
Well, no, the Red Jet Shell, she's in the chat.
My apologies.
But I don't know if I actually have you on anything. Maybe I'll hit up Bryant and you're on IG. That's actually something I can work with.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, JoJo?
Dude, hold on, Red Jet. Do we follow each other? Because if we follow each other, I can send you the link.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on IG. I actually muted my notifications because I have too many followers over there.
So John LaJoy,
I'm not catching the machines down in the.
Did you get a fresh cut?
Audio, is it?
Did you get a fresh cut?
Yes, I did.
All right, I'm playing my intro just because I can. I love doing it.
Do it.
I'll be right back.
I found you on Instagram. How do I follow message? Yep, I found Red Jet. And I sent you the link on Instagram. What does my profile picture look like on Instagram? I haven't looked for a while. Yeah, that works. It's me in the Sunday suit.
If I had to take a swing, it's gonna look like you. Just random guess.
Yeah. In the Sunday suit, me and Bryant do a stream every Sunday morning. We both put a suit and tie on. I, of course, cut the sleeves off the suit, you know.
Looking very fly, by the way, in those suits.
Well, what's up?
Makes me envious, to be honest with you.
Didn't I just send? Oh, I didn't send it to Little Sponge. I thought I did.
Yeah, I've been having Sponge and the CarCast on my podcast on basically Fridays.
Oh yeah, I was busy today, and that's why I didn't hop on. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I sent it. Did I send it to CarCast? No, I didn't. Dang it.
Well, y'all are getting set. If anyone is a streamer here, why don't y'all give a shout out to your channels while you're in here and they're getting set.
Wait a second.
That's for sure.
Wait a second. Is that Darway?
Yes, that is.
Yes,
That's Levi.
Yeah, it's Levi. Yeah, it's Levi.
What's up, dude?
He's working out. And
he took off.
He's getting pumped up. Getting those muscles.
He took off.
Well, he's working out, so let him finish doing what he's doing. Right.
I want to shout out Corona quickly and say what's up to my Warriors, brother.
Oh, there's
Laker brother.
I'm the Warriors.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Shout out to Geno Smith. I know we want.
That fool sucks.
I know a lot of us want him to win the Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
Oh no!
I thought you was
No.
going to say Jalen Hurts.
Nah, because he wants me to get that tattoo on my ass. That's why.
Yeah, we want
There
you
we
to get
go.
it. We just don't want you to show proof. We
Are
don't
you
want
gonna
you to send
are you gonna donate?
Oh, there she is.
what?
Welcome, Red Jet Shell, to
Yeah,
my
are you
channel
gonna
for the first
donate?
time.
Dude,
And it
tattoo
looks to
fund?
me like there might even
Yeah.
be more. There
Tattoo
is.
fund.
Yeah, I need a donation.
Hello.
There's he's back. He's muted, but he's back. Levi.
The Raven fan.
Yes, sir. Sorry, guys.
He's working out. He's working out, so he'll be in and out, folks.
I was like mid squat and I accidentally hit the hang up button. Hang up button.
Oh,
Whew. I'm doing no weight though. Let's be honest here, guys. Like your boy's out
That's
holding
a
out
good
shape,
thing.
so keep it real. I am going to do some rock climbing though here later, so stick around. See if watch a 33-year-old man fall from 33 height.
What's up, Levi?
Hey,
Yeah, how y'all doing there?
Asking a question
Good.
for Corona.
Good luck in 2 weeks.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. But let's get to what you got, McNiner.
She's asking David Corona, how far away from you are you from the Bay Area? She wants to see you umpire.
Yeah, 'cause he's a
She
Warriors
wants
fan.
to see you get yelled at by sports parents.
He loves Warriors.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
I'm in Corona Riverside.
No. You live in the Bay Area because we're Michael.
Oh yeah.
The real thing, guys, if we had the money, $18 tickets to the Carolina Panthers Falcons game, technically in Carolina because the fans are in protest, basically. Man, what a time to be a
cheap.
Carolina Panther fan. Yeah, I saw you can right now, someone posted in my football group, you can go buy 50-yard line front row for like $99 before fees and everything. I was like, I'd do it just to go heckle the players and the coaches a little bit, have a little fun. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah.
Hey, I bet Rudy, if he loses, he has to buy me a 49er hat. If he wins, I have to buy him a Rams hat.
Don't you mean you're gonna wear your Rams hat because you're a Rams fan?
He's gonna buy me a fitted 49er hat.
Hey.
That's what he's gonna do.
All I know is I love my boy Peo. He's 0-2 against me right now, technically.
Levi, you brought something up, the ticket prices for the Panthers?
Yeah.
Hey, I would do that just to possibly get some autographs. Man.
That's what I'm saying. Well, you young enough, they don't autograph for the older people like me, but for the young fans, hey, I feel you, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I do it just to honestly, if I lived in the area, I would go put my YouTube channel on a piece of paper and sit there on the 50 with advertising, son. That's the cheapest best advertising you'll get in your life. $100 for how many viewers, technically? It's not catching the machine, is it?
I like being at the game. I took a couple of pictures and I used them for thumbnails just because it's like, no one can copyright that. I took the pictures.
Dude,
what can they say?
It's funny that you mentioned that. In my stream, my background, that's the Ravens M&T Bank Stadium. That's my picture. I made sure to do it the exact same thing because I was like, hey, no one can say they copyright it. It's my picture.
That's exactly it.
I also haven't been. I've only been to one football game in my entire life, and it was a couple weeks back. But it was at the Link, but it wasn't an Eagles game.
And you
What
guys
game
lost
was it?
too, huh?
No, it wasn't an Eagles game.
Well, what was it?
It was a Temple game.
Oh, okay. I got respect for Temple.
And yes, Corona, we did lose that 1 year. We got blown out. We got blown out by Memphis.
Ooh.
Blown out by Memphis.
We also got to see E.J. Warner, the son of Kirtland.
Oh, that is pretty cool, actually.
Work his magic, but he was absolutely horrible that game.
It's not catching the sound of the machine, is it?
Just a little bit, but I'm
Okay, I'll
used
mute
to it.
my mic.
Levi, when you come back, I know you're a major draft guy. I don't know if you've looked into the draft yet, but is there one certain guy that you think your team could get that they should get?
Man,
that you like?
the Ravens are going to be after edge rushers more than anything, but they probably won't waste high picks on it. Corner could be actually the priority first-round pick for the Ravens. With that being said, though, it's a little too early for me. I like to wait until the players actually declare for the draft, which is coming up very soon. I don't have the specific date, but that's the day I've been talking with a few people of, I'm going to try to settle like 250-something players to kind of do film on. But that's a great question.
I already have my number one guy I want, but, who knows if he's declaring. Although I think he is declaring now. So. And he's not going to the Niners. That's all I know. He's not going to the Niners, so I can't do that if he goes to any other team.
Who's not going to the Niners?
Who?
It's a linebacker, so you really don't.
We don't need linebackers. We got them full.
Exactly.
We need a number 3 guy who plays like what? 25% of the snaps. Let's be honest here.
So Spongy.
But you wouldn't waste a first-round pick on a linebacker.
So Spongy, you guys need corners because your corners are trash, like Debo.
But we also need linebackers. That's the problem.
That's a good one.
So,
Just go draft from the University of Georgia. Go Dogs.
Yeah, that's basically what Philadelphia. They're Philadelphia Bulldogs.
I mean, in the first round, I want Jeremiah Carter Jr., and in the second round, I want Georgia corner Korey Lassiter.
Hey, feel free to copy my meme, and I've been meaning to do it for a while. After that draft, the first thing that came to my mind is like, man, we got to play the Who Let the Dogs Out, and just picture the Eagles with all the Georgia players. Apparently, the Eagles guys, they let the dogs out. They're rounding them up now.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently, I've met a Georgia Bulldogs fan, and he says that Georgia Bulldogs players like decrease the more years they play in the NFL. So I'm not worried.
Oh, whatever.
They haven't. The running backs haven't held up too well, but
Yeah, because they go.
The corners though.
I understand.
Right.
Keely Ringo is that
because they did have a lot of people leaving free agency, like you're talking about
Keely
McNiner
Ringo is
at corner.
Garbage. Cut him off my team. Keely Ringo, you're garbage. I wanted you in the draft, and you're absolute garbage.
Oh, Kelee Ringo, dude, he got exposed by one of the. If you watch my coverage, who was it? Exposed the shit out of him in this past draft. Like if you go back and watch the tape, Kelee, he's very aggressive. But the thing is this, in college, let me grab the camera. They call the penalties differently. How they enforce the press coverage rules are differently. And in college, let me give you another example of a corner I hated on film study, Eli Apple. In film study in college, Eli Apple had his hands all over people. When he got to the NFL, he still had the same issue, and it's why he bounced around from teams, and his coaches labeled him uncoachable because he would not fix the issue, and it was costing them in very key situations. Kelee Ringo, again, shows that same thing. He's got to play with better technique. He's got all the assets, but he gets burned. He bites too hard.
Like,
Sorry.
I believe it was the last game when we were playing, I'm drawing a blank. Who did we play last week? Oh, the Cowboys. Sorry.
Dallas.
We were playing Dallas, and I don't know who got hurt, but Keely Ringo was...
I actually covered that game.
Keely Ringo was in on a play. I believe it was on. It might have been on Brandon Cook. No, that was somebody else. I don't know who it was on necessarily, but he got a 15-yard penalty. And then that really cost the game for us. I mean, the game was practically already over, but you gave them another 30 yards and they went and scored. They wouldn't have scored there, and we would have came back and possibly scored them.
The cool thing about the University of Georgia when I was doing film study is a lot of the teams, case in point, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, basically all the top quarterbacks played Georgia at one point, which of course is one of the best defenses in college football that year. Of course, one of those matchups was the prior year, but it set a good benchmark film-wise because I basically was watching that level of competition against all the teams and the players. And like I said, that's when I kind of zeroed in on Ringo a little bit because he was our target by the Ravens at some point and mocked the Ravens in a few mock drafts.
But I gotta say this, I
put on my gear.
I'm glad we had the 9th pick because if you look at it,
Carter's a beast.
Carter is an absolute beast. I think he should have been the first defensive player taken off the board. But I don't think he would have been like this for any other team. Like he would have been good, but he might have had more like legal issues because
exactly.
Here's the thing: he had one other legal issue this year. It was only for a day they started to say it, so I don't know if it was a false rumor. But supposedly he shoplifted with his girlfriend, which isn't a major offense. But you got money now, so. Yep. I don't want to hear any more excuses out of you. But he's playing, I believe he's playing better than the first defensive player taken out the draft, Will Anderson. I believe he's playing better.
The problem with it is you become a smokescreen game. These the GMs across the league will, of course, put out and use certain formats. Basically, it's an information game. Hey, I'll give you information at some point in the game for, a return favor here. So with that, the recent thing that comes to my mind, if you remember, Laramie Tunsil was involved in some drama right before the draft, slid, and then has, of course, been one of the best left tackles in the NFL since then, exciting a record extension with the Texans. I think we saw the similar thing happen with Jalen Carter. I'm going to mute my mic, though, for a minute. I'll be back.
And there was somebody else who had, like, a smoke screen. And, sorry. I forget who it was, but it led them to fall very far. And look at what Laramie Tunsil has done for the Dolphins. I know he's not a Dolphin currently, but he's been traded. Like the Dolphins have gotten major pieces from him, like from trading him. I believe they've gotten Jalen Waddle. I believe they might have gotten Tua out of that too. So. And they got Bradley Chubb, too, from, like, the actual trade that they made for Chubb. That included some of the pieces from Laramie Tunsil. So.
Corona.
Hey, what's up?
I've had this picture of...
Oh, yeah, you guys got the other guy.
Yep, he's better than Otani.
Oh, hell no.
I think he could. John,
Did you see who else the Dodgers picked up?
Tyler Glasnow. Yeah, he's going to be hurt half the year like all your other starters.
Yeah, we'll see.
No, look at the last 2 years. Look how many times he's been hurt.
I don't care.
Your starting pitching is already injury prone. You have Clayton Kershaw wanting to go. Clayton Kershaw came out earlier and said he wants to win a World Series, and he said he's looking at other teams. He's not looking at the Dodgers. So that should say a lot about your team.
Tell him go bye then. Bye. You guys can have him then.
That little smudgy game.
No, I'm not saying he's coming to us. I'm saying he said earlier that he wants to win a World Series because I assume it's his last year in the MLB.
All right, bye.
Little spud, you're getting so heated over baseball.
I know that's my number one sport there, John. So.
Anyway, go Giants. F the Dodgers. Cough, cough.
We're gonna sweep the Giants.
I'm going to the Dodgers games this season.
You got don't go there.
I want to go watch you guys lose.
I don't know, you guys. Otani's gonna hit like 2 home runs off. You guys watch.
He's not hitting the ball in the water. No, he's not. He's going.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to strike out.
He's gonna hit over the. He's gonna hit over the water. Oh, Matt Muncy will though.
Okay. So you guys are talking about baseball. Let's get into the whole baseball contracts thing, right? So a guy signs a 10-year contract? How much was Otani's contract worth?
$700 million. But about that, so what happened was he's getting $2 million per year. So over 10 years, he's only getting $20 million. And at the end of the contract, the Dodgers are paying him the $280 million. So I don't know how they've said that, but supposedly there's something. If he gets traded, he's not getting. I don't really understand.
He's not getting traded anyways.
I'm just saying, David, you don't understand what I'm saying. They put that in the contract. If he gets traded, there's a big IS, capital IS on that. That's what I said. I said if. I didn't say he's getting traded.
The contract is $700 for 10 years. So the Dodgers have deferred $600. So basically, it's very confusing. So basically, Ohtani's 10 seasons, he's going to get $20 million. And then from 2034 to 2045, he'll be compensated for the rest of the money. It's basically like a trust fund or a retirement plan. If he does leave, then the Dodgers have like an opt-out clause to not pay him the money. It's very weird. Makes no sense.
Wow.
Makes no sense. Like what they're trying to do. Now, Ohtani's still making $50 million because he signed an exclusive deal with a New Balance. So he's the spokesperson for New Balance. So
I thought Ohtani was going to go to the Giants.
Oh my God.
I was trolling you, man. You took it so personal. Like, no.
I will say this. I don't know how possible it is, but it's definitely at least 25% possible at the current moment. You could possibly even say 45%. Yesterday.
Oh, no way.
Yesterday, the Phillies did something that I'm impressed
Welcome,
by.
Bryant Culp, to the show. These guys are talking baseball, Bryant. Now, I'm allowing it because it's a Friday night show, but, if it was another show, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you can give them a couple times to throw the ball, but then they're either going to knock it out of the park and we're going to get on to another subject, or they're going to strike out. If you strike out, we might not see you guys.
So the Phillies ended up meeting with
Levi in the gym there.
So hopefully that means we can strike up a deal and get him, because I think we need one pitcher to get us, one starter to get us over the hump, and then the rest of it.
What did you guys get?
No, we met with Yoshinobu Yamamoto,
Oh,
Japanese starter. But here's the other problem. He's met with about 10 other teams. So I don't think he has met. Has he met with the Dodgers? I don't think he has.
yeah, he already met with the Dodgers.
No, I don't think he did. He met with the Giants, though.
Go on out of here.
I'll look at it right now. 1 second. I got my computer on the side. I'm on my phone.
But yeah, so we were talking about the Pro Bowl a minute ago, and the one thing I want to talk about is I don't want our players to play in
it. Right?
Same here.
It's okay to still get the Pro Bowl nod. Oh, he's a Pro Bowler, and then you're not playing it because you're going to the Super Bowl. So now all of a sudden, say we get 10 Pro Bowlers. Now that's going to help 10 players that aren't on the 49ers, because now they're going to be playing in the Pro Bowl and getting that bonus. So,
Yep.
And one of them is going to be a Cough Eagles player if we don't make the Super Bowl. So.
You guys not.
Yes, we are. David,
all right, whatever you say.
If your defense keeps playing the way they are, I don't know, Little Sponge. I don't know.
They got to do something the Pro Bowl. Like, they got to make it like more like, I don't know, like some kind of prize at the end of it, where if the NFC wins, then they get to be the home team at the Super Bowl the next year. Or the AFC, they get to be the home team, if they win. I don't know if they're doing that currently. I think that would be a great way to make it a little bit more like,
Call
reason
Roger
to go out
Goodell
and win.
up. Call Roger Goodell up because that's a great idea. That's an idea he probably hadn't come up with in his 25 years of doing this job.
And I think the Pro Bowl should be back in Hawaii. I think that makes it more of an incentive for the players to go to, the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
They should have it in Hawaii because that's what it's been doing. And
it exposes Hawaii to the players and the teams, because I know a lot of the Hawaiians are, I think most of them, or definitely a lot of them that I know of are 49er fans. So, they probably, it's more expensive for them to go up to Santa Clara to go watch a game of their
David
their favorite
Corona.
team.
Look at the message that Juice said.
But definitely, I think that'd be great, just because they want to see their players play. Actually, I think that would be pretty cool for them. I think they should start having games in Hawaii too, like games before the bye week. Start having them in Hawaii. I feel like that would be.
Well, what they could potentially do, right, is they could put the Pro Bowl back in Hawaii. This is just my suggestion, my thoughts. Well, they could put the Pro Bowl back in Hawaii, and then they could take and put a preseason game from the AFC and the NFC, and that could also be like the winners of the Super Bowl. The two teams that went to the Super Bowl get to have a game in Hawaii for a preseason game.
That's actually a good idea, because it also exposes the younger players that might not be on the team a few games after. It exposes them to.
There'll be people who will say, "Oh no, we don't want the traveling, we don't want this or that," and that puts us at a disadvantage. But I don't know. If you look at a player and say you're going to Hawaii, I don't think that they're going to mind that much.
Maybe the third game of because it's only 3 preseason games. Am I correct about that? And the 4th week is the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
They should have the third game as the 2 Super Bowl teams, and have them battle it out in Hawaii, especially with their young players too, because I think that would be an incentive for the players and for the teams. It seems like a pretty cool thing,
Yeah.
I know, if I was a player, I'd definitely be wanting to go down to Hawaii right now. Hey, I don't care if it's a lot of travel. Hey, if you're paying me to go to Hawaii, I'll gladly go.
Well, we got something else to discuss though. The Pro Bowl. Look at what it's turned into.
Flag football.
Back in the day, they used to actually play football. They'd still hit each other. Occasionally, someone would get hurt, but But then, the NFL is all about player safety. So, the last several seasons, they haven't really. What in the heck?
It's getting whacked.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like when they played the game, they weren't actually hitting each other. They were just kind of, hugs all the way around, right? And what can you do? You're trying not to hurt people. So, a couple seasons ago, with the last actual football game they played, I was making jokes. Why don't they just go flag football or 2-hand touch? I was making jokes.
Oh my gosh, that game.
Then the next year, they're playing flag football. I'm like, oh, why'd they listen?
McDaniel, they listen to you. They listen to you. You know what he's saying?
Yeah, I was watching that Pro Bowl game, and I was muted because I didn't want to get YTC's show copyrighted, and I kept seeing the plays stop, and I'm like, what's going on? Is there flags? But I kept seeing the the marker moved down. I said, "What?" And then YTC explained to me, they're basically like once like you pass the defensive line, the play stops of the play. I was like, "What? What?"
Yeah, it's getting whack. It's getting whacker and whacker every year.
And then Mac Jones thought he had a touchdown because I remember like saying, "Who's tackling Mac Jones?" And he ran like 80 yards like a goof.
And then he hit the gritty after. That was amazing. But I will say this. One thing I did like about last year's Pro Bowl that I thought, was fun, made it look fun, that Tyreek Hill was out there tackling Jared Goff. Or sorry, pulling his flag. I'm sorry, NFL. You want to keep your players safe. I'm sorry.
Well, it's still football, but it's not football, right? It's like, yeah, it's flag football. They have a skills competition, which is pretty much what they should make it. They shouldn't even have a flag football game. They should just have a skills competition. How about a race? How about we line all the players up and they race the full length of the football field? Let's do some silly stuff. If you're not gonna, if you're not gonna actually play a game, let's just do some silly stuff and call it good.
You know what they should do? They should have the offensive line, the best O lineman from every team, run up the field and back. Yeah, that would be. And when you see some of the guys run, especially like Jason Kelsey, I find it funny because he has his heart and soul out there, and he's going at it protecting Jalen Hurts. It's funny.
So we were talking about some silly stuff for the Pro Bowl. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So could I suggest a stick or a competition?
Is it something about special teams, Brian? Is it something about special teams?
So
time.
I have two. Depending on who's taller, if it's the puncher or the kicker, right? The shorter player has to carry the taller player across the embrace the other team. Like, put them on their shoulders and then run, so you got the short player and then the taller player, on his shoulders running down the length of the field. And then we get the kick returner and we get the punt returner if they're two different people, and we tie their legs together, ankle to ankle, and then we let them race the other team the same way.
Player safety, Brian. That could possibly break their ankles. The NFL don't like that.
Three leg race.
I definitely think the NFL, especially with like all the kids wanting to see their. I mean, being a kid, I know who the popular players are, and like those are players like Jefferson, Sauce Gardner, like have those guys like. Have guys like that like the younger players are obviously because they're more popular amongst the kids, and the NFL wants the kids to start watching football, obviously, because if you're trying to keep it's safe too. Like if it's only grown adults watching the game, they can see grown men like harshly hitting other grown men. Like that's perfectly fine to like adults and it like for kids like me too. Yeah, no, that's fine. But like, you really want a 5-year-old watching the NFL and then see somebody like suplex a guy, and then that 5-year-old goes out and thinks he can do that to somebody in school. I think that's the NFL is gearing towards, but I mean, it's just stupid at this point.
Well, the whole suplex and choke slamming, you know, the players that they get into it, and then they have to hit somebody, so they do, you know, and it's just like, why even bother? You know what? If you're gonna hit someone like that, you know, just tackle them hard but legally. You know, you can still you can still hit guys. You just can't. You can't spear with your helmet, and you can't aim for their head.
Or supposedly
You know?
you can't aim for their arm either. Sorry, 49ers fans like to complain about that. I'm sorry.
Aim for their arm.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. NFC Championship game. Yeah, it's on Reddick. Yeah.
Yeah, but you injured him, and that. Never mind. I don't want to go there.
It's the reason they won the game. They knocked our quarterbacks out.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
I mean, but don't you think that every team? I mean, maybe they don't make it obvious, but you want to take their quarterback out every single game. It's just, I mean, you can have respect for the guy, obviously, but like, you know, it's a competition. You know.
But did they finish the job, McNider? No.
No, but that was just the one time that they did, and it cost you guys the game. You know.
It wasn't the one time, Sponge. They took out Brock Purdy. You know, they tore his UCL.
Yep.
Then they hit Josh Johnson, got a concussion, and he got pulled out of the game. You guys knocked out 2 quarterbacks.
I will say this: the Josh Johnson one, I don't think that was really intentional.
But Brock Purdy came back, but he couldn't throw.
I know, but do you really think? And the Josh Johnson injury, that wasn't like a major like end of season thing. It was like a 2-week concussion, you know, thing. Like, and here's the other thing. You gotta think about it. I understand, like, that was your guy's, like, 5th stringer, I believe, right?
Josh Johnson was QB4.
Yeah, QB4.
QB4.
So, do you really think...
Back in the day, Little Sponge, this is when I first started watching football. A player would knock a player out of the game, people are high-fiving him. Mm-hmm. You know, this is how much the game has changed between when I started watching football, when I was younger than you, to the point where it is now. You know, and now the way I look at it is I want to beat them with everyone. I want to show the other team that they can be at their best. They're still going to lose. That's exactly what I want to see.
Exactly. Best to best. Best to best.
And yeah, but like, you know, here's the other thing. These players, you got to think about how the NFL is, and the players can't really show emotion.
But if we did beat you guys in the NFC Champions, we wanted to win it anyways because we didn't have no quarterback. So it was better for us to don't go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But here's the thing about that. Josh Johnson was QB4. Okay, just think about that in your head. Does QB4 get a lot of reps in practice? No. So and plus he's 35 years old. Wasn't he like 30?
Probably been Christian McCaffrey as quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But he might have been like 36 years old at the time, I think. And he's out there as a QB4, probably not getting many reps in practice. So do you expect him to be like fully ready for game time action?
No.
Like, especially with the 300-pound men, like 6'5", 300-pound men coming after him.
No.
Of course he's gonna get possibly concussed. Yeah, it's just something you got to think about in your head. Like, even as, like, you don't want to wish injuries on your own players, but you got to think about it. He might not have been prepared. And
but this year's a different story. We got Brock Purdy. He's healthy. He's playing good. We're winning ball games, And with like Brock Purdy said, we need one game at a time. No rush. It's in our hands. It's in our hands because we got the number 1 seed. That's how it is right now.
And I gotta say this: he might have needed something like that to happen to him, so he could actually feel like no ill intent at all, but so he could actually feel what it's like to be in the NFL, like to get hit hard, and and all that stuff.
Before he gets his new contract, he'll probably get like he'll probably win like 2 Super Bowls if we had all the right pieces.
No. One of those Super Bowls is going to Geno Smith. What are you talking about, David?
No, he's not. No, he's not. Geno Smith sucks.
Wow.
But they might get a quarterback. They might get Caleb Williams, and he'll be the quarterback, and he takes them to a Super Bowl, and Geno Smith is the backup, and they win the Super Bowl, and you still have to get that.
Not with the defense we got.
Who cares about the defense you got?
Exactly, because you don't got no comments. You don't got no comments. You got right.
Well, whatever, David. Don't worry. You guys are gonna lose this year.
Yeah, we'll see. Don't be crying when we have that trophy up and holding in Vegas, and we come and they go back home, and John Jay's gonna go to that parade, and John Jay's gonna be loving it out there. 49ers just won their 6th ring. John Jay, it's in the parade. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it.
So Spongy, how do you know that the Niners are not going to win, but your Eagles are?
Doesn't be the Ravens and Niners Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but it's biased, John, and you have a little bit of view. You can't lie. You've had some times where, and all of us have. I will say all of us have had our moments that we come off as a little bit biased.
Little short.
You mean a little bit crazy, Spongy?
In the nicest way.
That's right, John.
You guys are welcome.
Spongy, we don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, but supposedly you guys do. You keep saying it's Ravens, Niners.
So,
yeah, because the logos.
So,
oh my God,
hey,
you're going along with that stupid conspiracy?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hold on. Buddy.
That I found.
Is that you?
So,
No,
I don't
that
know.
is Brock Purdy.
Yes.
Holding
I see that, but I don't know who it is.
So I don't know who's going to be in the Super Bowl from the AFC side, but we've talked about this a month ago. Like again, in the playoffs, it's different. Like Hurts can throw so many yards. In the Super Bowl, he was the best quarterback on the field, and your team still lost. So it's about having a good defense at the end to win the game. And your defense right now is 24th overall. That's not good.
Trash.
The 24th overall in the regular season. They could come out and perform their
trash. You're trash. Trash.
You don't know who's going to come out and stop interrupting me, David. You don't know how these players are going to come out during the playoffs. Like, they could have a whole different mindset to go out there and attack those guys and really perform. Like, they should have been doing this all along, but you don't know what.
Well, you guys have to come to our house because we have the number 1 seed, so it's coming through us.
You have the number 1 seed right now. You might not have the number 1 seed later.
We'll see.
I'm just saying, like, we're not going to be the 5th.
Stop crying about it.
I'm not crying. So how about you stop interrupting?
You're fucking whining too much, bro.
All right, hey guys.
All right, yeah, let's chill out.
Sorry about that, McMahon and Brian.
Hey, Spongy, let's see what they can do on Monday. That's the true test right there.
It is. And after that, we got
best
a fairly
team
schedule.
will win.
And then after that, we got a fairly easy schedule.
I hope the Seahawks could win because go ahead, Brian.
I do want you to understand. I think the Eagles are a good team, but I think they're a team that got lucky several times, and I think everyone here can admit that. But the thing with the Eagles is when did we play them? 2019 or 2020 with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yep.
Yes.
Didn't we beat them with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, by 2 points.
2 or 200. A win's a win, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So we had a healthy quarterback that game. And yes, the back in the day they did target players to get hurt. You did want to try to get a quarterback out. You didn't want to maybe like injure his career forever, but you definitely wanted to get him out of the game. And that's why Steve Young retired, because he got so many concussions throughout his time playing. So now you have a quarterback like you have right now, and you are one of the younger guys here, and your team has been relatively successful in the amount of time that you've been alive. But there's been a moment in time too where your teams went to 5 NFC championships in a row and lost 4 of them. You go to the Super Bowl and you lose the Super Bowl. And after that, your team had to kind of like rebuild. You fired one of the greatest coaches in the history of football. And what did he do? He went and won a Super Bowl somewhere else. Sure, you won, and you've been to 3 Super Bowls since then, but it's just, what I mean? It's like, I think everybody has, moments in their history where their team's doing really well. And I think right now the Eagles are coming through a time where they're either gonna show that they are who they say they are, or we just showed the blueprint on how to beat them. And if the Seahawks do what the Dallas Cowboys did and what the Niners did, even if they only win by 2, they win by 2, they still won.
It's a win.
Yep.
So I hope Joe Stevens, they could beat the Eagles, and he could keep his money. So that's what I want for him. But if not, you know what happens.
Yeah, I'm not a better. I'll bet something fun, like something fun, but I don't bet for money. Just
Yeah.
To me, it takes the fun. But some people, they like that fun, but like,
I get addicted to that stuff.
yeah, for me, like I just feel like I don't know, and it's cool. I don't have a problem with other people doing it. It's just for me, I don't know. I just rather talk the game up a little bit. I don't really like trash talk too much either, because some people, they don't know how to keep it polite, or keep it fun, and you say one thing about their team, oh, well, now they're going to fight. No, I'm not going to fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter, Virgo, baby, David,
Yeah.
you quiet there, man. What you got going on? You loving your new toy?
Me? Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely loving my new toy. I got this cool background I'm borrowing from a certain someone. Hope you don't mind. But it's so much nicer. Like, I was able to actually sync things, and guess who's back? That's right, folks. Darth Vader is back.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
So I'm happy, and it's honestly, it's nice clicking like my intro, my outro. I can actually see it's playing. I can see when it's going to end. I can properly time things. This is going to be so much nicer. It is. It's going to be so much nicer. But now I got to like dig into this thing and see what it can do. Like making thumbnails and video clips. I got to see what this thing's made of now. So You know.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be fun. So, did I read correctly? Tonight's show is not going to be the 2-hour show. Tonight's show is going to be an hour show.
Is it?
Did you post that or no? Are we going 2 hours?
I didn't post that, but
okay. No, I'm here.
Kind of like
I'm here.
I'm here too.
I was just asking. I read something wrong. That maybe it was something different, but I was like, what? Maybe you wanted to get in early, but okay. So what do you got for us? You got any topics for us, or you got any dad jokes?
Well, at this point, dad jokes is something we can do though. It's kind of like, well, I did invite a few people, and I'm just seeing if they show up. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
But and I invited my guy Damien, but if he can't make it, he can't make it. It is Friday night. He might be working. You never know, right?
Yep.
And we all know Jess is at the game in Arizona, and I'm still just curious on, does that stadium, because from the an aerial view, it looks like a coiled up snake, but what does it look like from the ground? That's what I'm seriously wondering. What does it look like that from the ground, or does it not?
I think when you know it. I think when you know it looks like that, or it's supposed to look like that, then you're like, oh, okay. But when you just walk up to it, it looks like it's just kind of like layered. It looks like kind of like a water hose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like a coiled up water hose.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm going to get there one day. I'd like to go to Cardinals Stadium, Arizona Stadium.
It's not necessarily that far away either. It's like from me or you, really.
Yeah.
It's doable, right? Oh, there he is. He's back. He's got that Eagles Wi-Fi, folks. It's like their defense, when someone's coming at them, they just like making business decisions. They don't tackle,
Miss tackle.
Oh, hold it. I got one. Since they get a lot of guys from Georgia, they just let the Chihuahuas out.
Oh, my God.
Wow. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been holding out one in for a little bit.
I want to say it, but I don't know if I should do it.
Oh, I was going to do it. That's why. It's like when I changed Spongy's name when he was on my podcast show.
That's funny. He logged into this. He's like, "Hey, who changed?" Or he logged into Bryant's, and he's like, "So what's this? Who changed my name?" But Bryant was like, "I didn't do it."
No, I wasn't.
But it was me.
I was asking who possibly did it before I was in the show, because I knew it was John, though. I knew it was John.
No, it was me, Sponge. It was John J.
It was both of us. Right, George?
Hey, they just said CJ Stroud is definitely out.
Darn.
Oh, I don't know who I picked. I'm gonna have to look at that.
He's doubtful.
I'm listening to the Eagles Christmas album right now. It's a really good Christmas album, so you guys might need to go check it out.
I think you picked Tennessee, McKnight.
No, I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I don't think.
Oh.
I would have to look, but no. He's saying go check out the Eagles Christmas album. I'm good.
Oh.
It's actually really good. I was on this platform, and it's called Whatnot. It's like a cart selling app. And there was this 49ers fan on there from Hawaii, and he was selling cards, and he asked the chat. He asked for like song requests, and I said, "How about you turn that album on?" And he said, wow, I'm a 49er fan, but I'm really impressed. And it was actually really good. That's what he said. And
Hey.
I quote,
Okay.
Hey, David. I just realized something. What happened to Donovan McNabb after they went to the Super Bowl? They lost. What happened to him in Philadelphia? He was no longer their quarterback. Hey, what happened to what is it? Foles?
Yeah.
Nick Foles.
Yeah. They go to the Super Bowl, right? And you can contribute that to both of them going to the Super Bowl. They both put games together, right? They're not on the team anymore after winning the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurt, he went to the Super Bowl. So is it going to continue on in like maybe a year from now, 2 years from now? He's not on the team.
no, Brian, here's the thing. Nick Foles, he was a career backup, and he was also in his early 30s. He's not going to be in. He wasn't going to be in the league much longer. And why give him another few years as a backup? He wasn't going to start. But if you're talking Wentz, he was also injury prone, and after he just wasn't himself. And we wanted to get the best we could for a quarterback that you could say was washed, especially at his age.
You're saying Foles was washed?
No, Wentz was washed.
So you're saying Wentz was washed as a rookie?
He wasn't a wrong. No, you said you
he was what, a second year quarterback? Second year quarterback, and he was washed? He got hurt.
You brought Brian. This is what you said. You said how
Said
they
all
were
the quarterbacks. My point is all the quarterbacks that's been in the Eagles Super Bowls are no longer on their team after either winning it or losing it following a season.
And I could have, and that's what I was explaining to you. The reason why both quarterbacks in the 2017 Super Bowl weren't there in 2019 or 2021, I think. I forget when it was. But why they weren't there, one, Foles was old. If you had a guy like that on your team, you're not extending him another.
He got paid. Didn't he go to the Bears and then he went to the Jaguars?
Yes,
I mean,
and we weren't gonna pay him a big hefty amount of money.
Because you guys got a Super Bowl. You guys got a Super Bowl out of him on cheap deal, and then you wanted to keep him in.
We got 2 good games out of him at his ripe age of 31 years old. If Josh Johnson wouldn't have gotten hurt that game and he would have actually won the game for you and went to the Super Bowl, you would have kept him for another year?
Josh Johnson's been on the 49ers 3 different times. What's your point? Mm-hmm. He's been on 17 different football teams.
He's been on
the Eagles team like twice. Come on. He's been on the Ravens team 4 times. He's a clear backup quarterback.
And so is Nick Foles. So what's your point?
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, and you guys let him go.
We didn't
if Josh
let him
Johnson
go.
would have won a Super Bowl, they wouldn't have let him go.
Right, you're taking this perspective I'm not from, which I respect. But if you're taking the,
I'm telling you, look, your team's been to the Super Bowl how many times since the 2000s? Donovan McNabb was a good quarterback. You let him go for Michael Vick. Michael Vick didn't win you a Super Bowl. He didn't get you to a Super Bowl. McNabb got you to 5 championship games. Oh, but he was washed? No,
I didn't call him on.
No,
I didn't touch on McNabb.
I'm not saying you said he's washed. Little Sponge, I'm not saying you said he's washed. I'm saying it from the perspective, and this is it. Look, in the last 20 years, the Eagles have let all their Super Bowl quarterbacks go. Win or lose the game, you can say, oh, well, he was a backup. Oh, well, he was on his way out. He was getting ready to retire. He went to go play for another team. McNabb went to play for another team. Foles went to go play for another team. Carson Wentz went to go play for another team. Jalen Hurts is having a knee issue right now, a significant knee issue. I think he doesn't have too much time left, especially if he's doing those tush pushes.
You want to make a bet on that, Brian? Like,
Jason Kelsey's going to be retiring soon. Get prepared.
Yeah, no, I am prepared for that. We thought he was going to retire last year. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were waiting the day where he said he was going to retire. We had the date set on our calendars, and then that was the day he said he's not retiring. That's the day he said he was sticking for a year.
What?
But Brian, I can't touch on like the McNabb situation. I can touch on the Wentz and Foles though. And what I say with and I know Hurts is going through knee issues right now, but he is also, and I hate to use the word elite, but he is an elite quarterback who fits the system. And you got to think about this: if there's no Hurts on our team, there's no AJ Brown on our team. Because I think AJ Brown would request a trade if Hurts isn't there, because you know they're best friends. And I think now he's just used to it at this point, having his best friend at quarterback. But that's beside the point. No, with Nick Foles, okay, or sorry, with Carson Wentz, he tore his ACL, I believe. That is a major injury, and he wasn't himself. He tore his ACL in his best season. And then after that, he just wasn't himself. Do you want a quarterback? I believe he was getting paid a decent amount, too. You want a quarterback that's getting paid a decent amount who's not himself anymore? Or would you rather have...
It just shows that your team rebuilds after a Super Bowl. Every time you go to a Super Bowl, win or lose, you rebuild after a Super Bowl. And it shows that you guys don't have loyalty in your players. Your team has taken so many trips to the championship game, fire a head coach. Mm-hmm. That head coach goes on somewhere else and wins the Super Bowl. You guys don't stick with the plan. You guys start getting the water hot and start freaking out. Carson Wentz could have rehabbed. The problem is he was no longer on your team because he lost the locker room when he didn't go to the Super Bowl and win it. So not exactly. That's why they had to let him go. And then they fell flat on their face when they let Foles go too, because he went to go play for other teams. You know, that's my point.
Here's the other thing. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
You added into the point that I was saying as well, where you said, okay, this team is going to probably lose significant other players because if Hurts gets hurt, then, you know, they're not going to want to play there. Okay, no, they're not going to want to play there because why? Because they don't have a superstar quarterback. And that superstar quarterback.
No. What I'm saying is
your backup quarterback's not a superstar.
Marcus Mariota is not going to be our backup quarterback next year. He's on a 1-year contract, and he hasn't shown anything to be back next year.
You guys don't have loyalty in a team or a veteran player or even a system. You guys keep shuffling quarterbacks. And yeah, John's right. It's about money. And it's not about the team or keeping chemistry. It's about shuffling players so you guys can try to keep this window together.
Brian, you can say that about you can exactly say that we didn't have. I'm only touching on the Wentz and Foles situation right now. I can't touch on the McNabb. I was not born. But I gotta say this.
This Foles situation, because you're like 13. So how old were you? 6?
So no, but I had. It's recent, so I look back at it, and I know too. But I know the time. It's still basically this generation. You know what I
mean? Okay.
So, but you gotta think about this. Nick Foles. I understand He just won you a Super Bowl, and he might have liked to be here, and maybe we didn't offer him a big, like a fairly big contract in after he won the Super Bowl, and he saw that a rebuilding team, the Bears weren't really rebuilding at the time, but a team like that offered him more money than the Eagles did. So he probably took that opportunity to go for the money and possibly go out and win another Super Bowl with a different team. He wants his legacy to be out there with multiple different teams and win a Super Bowl for multiple different teams. Make fans happy. And with the Wentz situation,
when you're 31 years old and you've been a backup quarterback, you don't have fans.
No, Brian, you don't understand what I'm saying. If
no,
a quarterback, if a quarterback wins,
you agreed. Your team doesn't have loyalty with the team. They
I did not say
players.
that. I did not say it. I did not agree to that.
Spongy,
I did absolutely not agree to that.
Spongy, give me a minute to slow down this conversation. So, Spongy, what? Okay, so I don't live in Philadelphia, but the fans, are sort of like New York. Like what's being said is that the fans are so impatient that when you guys had stability in the 2000s, and then when you guys won the Super Bowl, your fans were never happy with the success that your team had. There was one point, and you've told me this, that they wanted your general manager to be kicked out, and then he changed it, and you guys became really good.
But you don't understand.
I know.
At that time, we were going to. At that time,
no, it's not going nowhere.
I know it's not going nowhere.
When we wanted to fire Howie Roseman, okay, when we wanted him out of here, you don't understand like the moves he was making.
Sponge. Let's change this conversation because you can't keep telling people. Stop. You can't keep telling people that are a little older than you that they don't understand when they've been watching football twice the amount of time that you've been alive.
Okay,
we've seen the Eagles. We've seen the Eagles. You might be able to tell us freshly what. Give me a second. You might have been able to freshly.
Whatever.
You might have been able to freshly say who you have in the office and say personnel names. But we are telling you, everyone here sitting here is saying this basically the same thing, that the Eagles are not happy with the limited success that they've had when they've had stability. And instead of, saying, okay, we got a team here, we're going to build and we're going to build a dynasty. They rebuild when they get a win or they get a couple playoff berths. And then guess what? They start all over and then they get another chance in a couple of years. But for 2 or 3 years, they're a bad team. They're an 8-8 team. So, hey, shout out to your loyalty and stuff to your team. We get it. You love the Eagles, but the Eagles have had this track record. But let's change the subject. Like I think everybody's saying it too. It's not going anywhere anymore.
I have something to say, but I'm not going to say it just because we want to continue the conversation or something else. But whatever.
Well, we got to be mature and we got to be respectful too. And shout out to Aaron for coming through, buddy.
Hi, Aaron.
All this
What's
stuff
up, bro?
I wouldn't have brought up the loyalty to the team. I didn't start the conversation.
It was my statement. It was my statement. You started cutting into my statement before I was able to finish it. I have proof to back up what I said. You started getting offensive about it, and because it's your team, I get it. But there's a track record with your team, and then you wanted to start defending a certain period in time with your team. The period in the time of your team, you beat the Patriots twice in a Super Bowl, and you've rebuilt.
And here's the thing: you first said, you can say like the owners, general managers, coaches don't have faith in the players, and then you brought it to the fan, and then you brought it to the fans don't have faith in the players. It's not. It's like
you might have as a 13-year-old, but the Philadelphia Eagles. Did you see the stadium empty when we beat you guys? Those are people who paid a lot of money for tickets that walked out on that team. They went
was
fly,
no
Eagles
chance.
fly. They went cry, Eagles cry in the parking lot.
But you also expect me when I understand my fan base is crazy. But as a fan, you just got to defend it at this point. You can rant about what your fan base does, but at the end of the day, it's your fan base. There's only one person in this fan base I don't support, and you guys know who that is. But when my fans are getting thrown into the conversation, I am one of them, so I have to defend it.
Yeah, but we've talked already, and we've said this isn't personal towards you. This is a perspective of outsiders looking in, and this is your track record. It's not necessarily you as a fan who have the decisions of the team. You as a fan get to wear their colors and go and support them. But win or lose, you're supposed to support them, right? That's where
And
you are a good fan at. That's where you are a good fan at. You're not the fan, Spongy, that went to the NFC Championship and threw beer cans at women. You're not the fans that was cussing out 49er fans as they're walking out of the stadiums and you know throwing food and garbage on them. No, because you're a respectful guy. That's why you hang out with us. But they're the brotherly love, you know, the brotherly love, the city of hate. Come on, man. There's you know, we're not saying
well,
you know, and you guys pride yourselves. The Eagles pride themselves off of having one of the worst fan bases.
okay, you expect you expect, you know, and I'm not saying you, but people say we have a horrible fan base. Don't you think that's why we're going after you? Because you're
No, but
basically
I don't
going
think
after us by saying
it's
that.
it's not just like football fans like the Cowboys or the
I
Niners.
know.
It's
I
Eagles
know.
fans. It's the Eagles fans. It's like you guys,
And some
you
of
guys are
us,
beating each other up.
admit to it at times, you know, this fan base can be rowdy. But you got to look at us like what's happened to us the past few years. We've been a great team, and certain teams, yeah, and we're rivals too. But you know, even the general media, we're not getting credit.
Oh,
If you look at us as a fan base, we're one of the loudest fan bases in all of sports. You know, especially in baseball. I know it's a football show, but especially in baseball. If you look in the playoffs the last 2 years, we've had one of the loudest stadiums of all time.
so Sponge. I understand where you're coming from. This conversation isn't going nowhere. You are defending your fan base, but Spongy, you are one person, and you know if you're going to be defending every Philadelphia, that's
I'm not.
that's not. Hold on, Spongy. We've had this conversation many times on my other channel. We've had this conversation many times before. Sometimes when a conversation isn't going nowhere, we agree to disagree. At the end of the day, Sponge, and again, I've met people from Philadelphia who have moved out to the Bay Area, and they tell me when it comes to sports, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, and whatever sport is out there, the fans are never happy. They're never happy, even when they're good. They're never, ever happy. That's how they act. Your ownerships reflect the city that it is. And again, I know you're not one of these, you know, delusional fan, but you're kind of acting a little bit like the fans that we're talking about. So to keep it simple, because I know we're not going to get off this topic because we want to talk about other things. At the end of the day, Sponge, you root for your team. We root for our team, and let bygones be bygones.
And I was just saying, you know, Bryant was giving a point of view of how he felt. You know, this team doesn't get, you know, have faith in the players. And I was saying I couldn't even speak on some of it because I wasn't alive.
But that's the point. You don't have to defend it. It wasn't an argument or an attack on you. It was a statement.
No, but when you say something like that, you gotta expect somebody to.
No, you don't, because that's what having an adult conversation is where you can listen to someone's perspective and then you can move on. I had points. I have facts. that can back this up. And again, we've said it.
And
I've said it.
I
Everybody
also
else has
have
said it
that.
like 3 or 4 times. Let's change the conversation. But you keep on saying, "But Bryant said this," and Bryant. I say a lot of things. I say a lot of things.
No,
okay?
but I'm saying I know I continued the conversation, and I had some more stuff to say, which I'm gonna hold off for now. But and I'm willing to change it to a different conversation, but it's fresh in my head because and that's why I said I would go on mute, and then people were talking to me about the situation, so that's why I brought it back up.
So anybody have any football topics to talk about?
They just talked about the Vikings and the Bengals. How far they what they're ranking for the playoffs. It's about right now they got the Vikings on top of the Bengals to make the playoffs. And they got, I don't know how that one. I don't know how that one got there. Corona. But they got the Steelers and the Colts. They got the Steelers up there.
Corona.
Yes, sir.
How did the Vikings get to the AFC?
Oh no, I'm talking about the games.
Oh, okay.
From Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I got messed up.
We got 3 games.
Yeah, 3 games. So they're saying who's gonna win and all that for Saturday, and they got 50-50, but they got the Vikings winning.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they got the Colts and Steelers. They got the Colts winning.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the last one, they got the Lions beating the Broncos.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Lions and the Broncos. I think I chose the Broncos for the upset.
Yeah, you did. Me and you did.
Yeah. And again, like the Lions can still win, but after you lose on Thanksgiving to the Packers at home, and then you lose to the Bears.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm sorry.
And Russell Wilson's favorite saying is "Let's ride."
Dude, like Sean Payton, I think finally has figured out what not to do because they've been winning a lot of football games lately, and Russell Wilson looks like his old self.
Ooh. Hold on.
What?
Do we have someone's backstage?
Finally. All right.
Levi.
Yeah, so we're officially
room.
done talking about fan bases for now.
I know.
I was gonna bring up another thing to do with it, but I decided to leave it alone.
So Levi, I saw you climbing rocks. Was it?
Yes, sir. It was.
You want to know something about me? I love climbing rocks too.
Bro, that's one of the main reasons we signed at our complex. I saw the heavy bag in the rock wall, and I said, "Sign it."
Did you say the heavy bag?
Yeah, there's I was trying to film the heavy bag, the heavy punching bag, but
oh man, you know
my
what, Levi,
Wi-Fi was cutting out streaming.
You have become my best friend.
Oh yeah, it was.
I love
boxing.
I
got a fighting championship belt.
Geez, I love boxing. Oh man.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I kind of went a little rant.
Oh,
you go, Spongy. Don't worry.
What's that?
Oh, cheese. Nice.
Oh, look at that. Oh man. Oh man. I got a question for Levi about his Ravens. Oh, he can't hear me yet.
He'll in a second.
So Levi, I got a question for you.
Let's hear it.
All right, he'll come back.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm taking a dab off camera. Keeping it real.
He's keeping it real.
I'm saying Ravens and 49ers Super Bowl. What you think?
Oh, dude, to be completely like, I swear this is not biased in any type. Like, I know it's hard to believe that, but like when you look at both the AFC and the NFC, how barring the Ravens pull a Colts, you know what I'm saying? Like, just drop the ball out of nowhere. You know, it's hard to disagree with it. Like,
but we coming on top this time though.
You know what? Y'all can win Christmas as long as we win the later game.
Oh, hell no.
He said, win Christmas.
Every single game is for Korey.
Oh, man. I don't know how to feel about it.
I know. Dude, don't know how I'm going to feel if that does become the reality, because I want the Niners to win for Korey, to cap it all off. But
I know.
But my Ravens. That's one of those ones. If that stream happens, I swear to God, I'll figure out a way to stitch a Niners and a fucking Ravens jersey together, and somehow we're just gonna.
So Levi, I want to ask you a question about last week.
Yeah.
Were you screaming? At that game.
Oh my God. Are you talking about that Rams ending?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The funniest thing about that, so if you've been following my coverage of the Ravens, I've been actually openly critical of former Pro Bowl returner Devin Duvernay not really giving that effort this year that those previous seasons that got him to the Pro Bowl. It's just the eye test, nothing really on the stat line for it. And lo and behold, he gets injured in that game. They put in Tylan Wallace, who's a hungry young wide receiver we drafted 5th or 6th round, if I'm not mistaken. And what did he do? Took it to the house. I've just been saying, so it was great to see, to be honest with you. And it had me on my knees.
I believe Devin Duvernay is a possible free agent this year, correct?
He is, and that's why he's not giving that effort on let me get Devin Duvernay. Actually, I believe is up there in record holds for most amount of catches without a drop in college. It's one of the reasons the Ravens signed him. I was very vocal for the Ravens under Greg Roman's offense. He was very underutilized. And I feel case in point, if he was in Kyle Shanahan's or Nick Sirianni's offense, I think Duvernay would be a much more legit weapon.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He'd probably be a wide receiver 3 for us, but at the current moment, yeah,
he's more of a slot guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys I've been impressed by. I've been impressed by Olamide Zaccheaus this year. He was a guy really overlooked. Yeah, he was we traded for him earlier this year, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've heard of him, but who is this guy?
So was there any moment where you're like, I hate my team?
Nah, man. Well, actually, hold on. Actually, that's not true. I was very angry at John Harbaugh for a mismanagement of the clock in the first quarter. When the Baltimore Ravens had 2 timeouts, they ran 18 seconds off the clock, didn't take their time on a 3rd down. Everyone in my chat agreed. We were like, what the hell are you doing, Harbaugh? That is an obvious coaching 101 kind of thing. But of course, since the Ravens come away with the dub, all's forgiven, right? What is that stuff? I'm just guys, I'm telling you, that's the difference in the Super Bowl run, making that play and making sure you come away with points on the end of that drive. What do I know? I always have my disagreements with Harbaugh, but
I know
you guys should have lost that game, but you guys got the win though. I'll give you credit.
The Rams.
Thank you. Thank you for beating the Rams, because I can't stand them.
I know. Actually, the Ravens. It's on my phone, so I don't have it. The Ravens have a various 7+ different ways, I think, to clinch the number 1 seed this week. Of course, Baltimore has to win. I think Denver has to win. Not Buffalo. Someone else has to win. But we've got a few ways we can clinch up that number 1, and I know we're desperately hoping for it to make everyone come to M&T.
You need the Dolphins to lose.
Yeah, we do need Dolphins to lose.
The Dolphins.
supposedly, I know that, I bring it up because, we're kind of talking about being frustrated with coaches at the. So there's been this thing going around with Eagles content creators. Our biggest content creator actually made a video on it. It might have been some clickbait. I can't deny but he said how Nick Sirianni might not be here next year, which I totally disagree with. Yeah. I don't care if he's lost the locker room. Look at him on the sideline with he's jumping up and down.
Let me ask you, in that regards, what's your opinion of Shane Steichen, your former offensive coordinator, now head coach of the Indianapolis Colts? I was a big fan of him in the offseason when we were looking to replace Roman. And actually, he was in my consideration if we fired Harbaugh. He was one guy I wanted, to be honest with you.
Like, he was definitely the better of the two coordinators. Much better than Gannon at what he does.
Okay. Yeah, Gannon, wasn't he over in, was it Denver?
He's over in Arizona.
Oh yeah, he's
Kansas City.
You're right. Hey, thank you. What up?
Rich Gannon? What quarterback you talking about? Former 49er, former Raider Kansas City quarterback?
No.
Michael Gannon over in Arizona coaching now.
Jonathan Gannon.
Jonathan Gannon.
Now
we all get it wrong.
Now is he related to Rich Gannon? Is that his son?
I don't think so. But here's the thing. With Shane Steichen, I personally, years before, the 2 or 3 years after the Super Bowl, like the 2018 to 2020 range, I didn't watch football that much. And, because I was, my brothers and my dad, they went crazy. I didn't want to go out there and watch it with them because they were yelling and screaming and all that, And then after 2021, 2022, I started watching a few games. And I'm like, okay. And then, this year and last year, I didn't really appreciate I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have last year when we had Steichen. Mm-hmm. Because
from what I had heard from various people across the NFL about Steichen, whatever you want to, Shane, I'm just going to refer to him, was that his ability to adapt and individually game plan for every single opponent was considered almost unrivaled in the NFL. And like I said, I wanted him myself. There was a few other candidates I was staring at, but the Ravens might be in a bad situation. There's been talks of Todd Monken and Mike McDonald in head coaching searches on other teams, which is the worst case news for Baltimore.
Hey, I want to bring this up. I think the Bears are going for Matt Canada. Shout out to Michael. They're going for Matt Canada.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, God. That would be the most classic Bear thing. You know what I'm saying? But no, I hope not for them.
Levi,
I know that's not going to happen.
Levi, they like to hire people named Matt. It's a conspiracy theory. They like hiring people named Matt. Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus.
No, they're gonna bring in that guy from the Lions because our friend, who, and then they're gonna draft. And then they're going to draft the wide receiver from Ohio State, and then they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Man, can we talk about next year Hendon Hooker with the Lions, too? How scary that could be.
He is fast. He is fast. I was, speaking of draft last year, I was disappointed with the quarterbacks that were on the board when we drafted our third stringer and Tanner McKee. There was much better quarterbacks on the board.
Yeah. Well, I mean, y'all drafted in what, third round, correct?
No. If it was third round, I think it might have been fifth.
Tanner was considered the top of him and Aiden O'Connell, whatever his name is from Purdue. Him and the Stanford kid, were considered the top of the tier 2 quarterbacks. I mean, they've got pretty good tape, but they're not going to be game changers.
Yeah, like I forget who it was, but there was somebody out there that that could have been a great backup. I'm drawing a blank on who it was. Oh, but you know who I really wanted in the draft last year? Who is on the team, but he's deciding to be the worst cornerback ever? Shout out to Keely Ringo. You know.
You know what? I got a better one for you. The Ravens drafted a guy named Caillou Blue Kelly, Stanford.
Oh, yep.
If Bryant was there, it was a head scratcher for me during the draft. I had no clue who this guy was. He was not on my board. But you know, I trusted my Ravens. I saw him in preseason getting roasted by 5th string wide receivers. It is very unusual for Baltimore to cut a draft pick, and they moved him to practice squad immediately. Seahawks signed him. They cut him. He's on his 3rd team now in his rookie season after being drafted in the 5th round. And the worst part about this entire story, Harbaugh came out before the Rams game and said, Nakua was on our board. Nakua was one of Harbaugh's favorites, supposedly. And, of course, Nakua ended up being, I believe, the last pick of the 5th round, meaning he was on the board for the Ravens when they took Caillou Blue Kelly. But in credit, I miss Nakua as well. Let's keep it honest.
I don't think anybody had him. I don't think anybody had them on their draft board, really.
I know. Gotta question if Harbaugh was honest there or not.
He might have been. But you got to think about it like this. There's guys that are going to be in this draft class. And, like one guy I like is Laiatu Latu. I believe he's the brother of 49ers tight end Cameron Latu.
Mm-hmm. He's very
yes.
Yeah. You know, I think he's definitely going to fall due to, like, with all the injury, retirement stuff. He had to medically retire during college. But a lot of guys have done that, and they end up being good in the NFL.
I've got some questions for y'all, if you would indulge me.
Go ahead.
How do y'all feel about the hip drop tackle? Roger Goodell came out saying he's kind of for banning it. Do you think it's even, like, can we watch the game without a hip drop tackle? Like, would it slow it down too much? Like, I feel like it's just so hard for defensive backs already. What are y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, this is a problem that the NFL is having as they're trying to make the game more, like, offensive. And the defense already has a disadvantage. Like, the corners, there are moments when they let the corners play, but the majority of the time, like, if you just like breathe at the corner, they're going to throw the flag. So corners don't know how to defend receivers. So that's why, you know, a lot of receivers have a lot of open space. So like the NFL needs to, like, be more balanced and let the defense play football.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, the NFL is getting to the point where they're being.
Steve-O says a tackle is a tackle.
Yep.
Like,
there's a lot of people that think it's
exactly it. You get a hold of a guy's shoestring and you pull it and he falls. That's a tackle. You stand up, you smack him in the middle of the section. He falls down. That's a tackle.
Vontaze Perfect, Antonio Brown. That's wait, hold on. No, that's not. That's a 15.
Hey guys, you guys have a good night. I have to get up early in the morning.
Good night, David.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Right, David, have a good night, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you for having me. Yep. All right. Later, Brian. Later, John.
On the topic of, like, you know, officiating and everything, I have seen one change, and I've talked about this season a little bit, that I'm a fan of. I see the refs actually taking time to deliberate and talk about the calls instead of just making a bad call immediately. And some fans don't like it, like the extra 5 seconds before we actually hear the call. How do y'all feel?
It depends on, like, there's been games. I mean, you can say the refs have been a little better this year, and they're actually talking amongst each other when it comes to some of these calls. But some of them, if you throw the flag and there's obviously a flag there, just because you can't agree on what it is, don't pull it back because there's something there. You obviously saw something with your two own eyes. Like there was this time where, of course, I'm bring up my Eagles, but one of these games, I believe it was the Cowboys game, when CeeDee Lamb went in for the touchdown, there was obvious holding, and they threw the flag, but then they picked it right back up. And you could see them. One of the guys even did the holding signal that it was holding, and you don't call it. If you're right there and you physically see it, you're the closest ref to it.
I have one counter argument to your point. So let me give you the example. The side judge on the right side throws the flag because he sees the holding, because he's of course watching the wide receiver defensive back matchup. However, at the same time, I know I'm just using a hypothetical. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, the quarterback actually rolls out of the pocket outside of the tackle box. Therefore, the holding is actually that point legal and not enforceable by the penalty. Of course, the back judge or side judge will not probably have a good view of the quarterback, so he might have to get the call correct, defer to the backline judge or the head umpire. Just as a small counter, not that individual, incident. I'm trying to remember the one you're talking about too, because I covered that game.
I believe it was the one where Dak Prescott ran out and he got that extra yardage, and then that led to the touchdown. But it's also like the refs. I thought they used to call a lot of flags. They did. Yeah, it was pretty obvious. They used to call a ton. But this year, with a lot of it, I'm sorry, but they're not calling.
What do the rest of y'all think?
A lot of it, they're not calling it. It's frustrating. And in the times that matter, you're not calling it.
So there is there's a rule of thumb in the NFL that there are games that the referees, like for example, the last 2 minutes of a game, when referees want to make a call because there's a call, fans get upset. So there's a rule of thumb that referees sometimes, not all the time, let plays happen. And people are like, where's the flag? Where's the flag? Because they don't want to put a disadvantage on one team and give an advantage on another team. And that's one of the disconnects, that fans versus the refs. The refs are like, I got to make this call. It could be a little, ticky-tacky. I'm gonna let the play go on. And fans don't like that. So, yes, the fans' perspective is, throw the flags. It's not fair. But sometimes you need to play
a lot easier in replay.
Yeah,
than it
and
is.
Also, you also have replay. So if they get it wrong, like in the last 2 minutes of every game, NFL does not have any excuses because they get to review it, they get to fix any call. But during the first quarter, most people do not care what happens in the first quarter. Second quarter, not too much. Around the third, fans start to really care because the game is getting closer and closer to the end. So that's why there should be a rule of thumb where probably when there's 5 minutes left in the third quarter to the fourth quarter, let the games play on and only call flags what it really needs to. Because if you're going to be throwing flags at every little ticky-tacky, it's just going to be just a headache for the NFL, and fans are not going to like the product. So sometimes it's okay for referees not to call ticky-tacky stuff.
And yeah, with that, I understand you don't have to call every single thing. Yeah, and the first, second, third quarter, when they don't really matter. But some of it you do. And the fact that you're not calling them, and that leads to a score for the team, which wouldn't have happened if you would have called the flag. First off, I'm letting you know that right now, refs. I appreciate you guys, but
yeah, left tackle Andrew Whitworth was when I was trying to find exactly who said it. He offensive lineman, his words himself. there's holding on every single play technically.
Facts.
And there is, that is factual. But in the matter of the fact that they score on that drive, and it's pretty, some of it's not blatantly obvious that the guy is holding, but a lot of it that in the last 2 games, and that's really when it's been bad, when it's us against the good teams, us against the Niners, us against the Chiefs, and us against the Cowboys. They really didn't call anything.
So
on the O line, and they called the exact ones on us though, which is what I had the problem with.
So Sponge,
yes,
we are back at this conversation we had a month ago when a team loses, and again you're kind of showing you're a little bit salty, you're showing your emotions. When your team loses, for my example, when my team lose, I blame the team. I don't ever blame the refs.
I do blame the team, but sometimes I'm just pointing out times that the refs, they could have called it differently.
And I understand that you're absolutely true. But one thing that I've noticed from you, because like we hang out a lot, and I've kind of considered you as a friend, but you always get a little bit ticky tacky when your team is losing. The refs. So I don't know if you have anything against the refs.
And sometimes, hey, trust me, I play baseball, John. The amount of times that, trust me, and the one time I got a technical foul in basketball, but it wasn't a technical foul, but the guy called me for a technical foul.
I have a saying: be humble in your wins, and be modest in your losses.
And even in some of my wins, I think about the other team could have won if the refs could have, if the refs would called certain stuff on us, but.
Okay.
The NFL refs have been under more fishing. Oh, sorry, Brian.
No, it's okay. I just all right. I got a question for you, Levi. I got 2 questions. First one's funny. You don't have to answer it. But
only one. You only. Sorry.
You gotta pay per question, Brian. You gotta pay per question.
Yeah, that's how super. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Brian. Sorry.
No. We're having fun. So first question, again, you don't have to answer it, but your top 5 kickers, elite kickers in the league, and well, of course, and then I would also like to get your thoughts on Joe Flacco with the Browns.
So, all right, let me start with the kickers, current or all time.
Right now, current in the league.
I mean, of course, Tucker's in there. Ho's got to be in there. For those that don't know, young Ho passed basically Tucker for the most accurate kicker and then lost it the next week. So now Tucker's, again, the most accurate kicker in the NFL history.
Hey, Brian, can you confirm this?
Or deny it?
I'm trying to think.
Brian just found out today that one of them won the MVP award.
Who was it though? Well, I believe it was Dallas kicker hit a 61-yarder.
Oh, yeah.
Dallas's new kicker honestly looks the part.
Yeah.
After that, honestly, I start kind of getting a little fuzzy. After that, I want to say Matt Stover and Vinatieri, but of course they're not in the NFL anymore.
No respect for Jake Elliott?
No respect.
He said that.
I'm joking though. Jake Elliott is a good kicker. It's just my knowledge on the NFC is a little weak.
Yeah.
Especially about the kickers. But I respect Jake Elliott.
I like it. I really don't. I really can't disagree too much there at all.
What was the second question again? I'm sorry.
The second question is your thoughts on Joe Flacco with the Cleveland Browns.
Joe Cool. Man, y'all didn't know me when we had Joe Flacco. I love me some Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco had a constant case of Harbaugh. People don't realize Joe Flacco, when he was the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, went through almost as many offensive coordinators as Jake Cutler did. It was horrible. And again, it's one of my big critiques of Harbaugh. I don't think there was ever real true accountability for the hiring decisions at the offensive coordinator position, and just the lack of consistency in offense. Schematically, we refused to run the ball. Just so many issues. Poor Joe. Joe was never the same after that ACL injury. For those that don't know, quarterbacks, when they suffer an ACL injury to their front leg, that one that they put the weight on really to bend on, that first season back, dude, is always rough. And I'll be honest, the only quarterback I've ever physically seen take that injury and fix his mechanics after a year was Tom Brady. And even the year after that injury, he kind of wasn't the same. But of course, then he ramped it up. I love Joe. I just hope we don't see playoff Joe, because Joe. The reason I love Joe. The reason I hated or I loved Joe was when we had Joe, the style of offense that won the Baltimore Ravens the Super Bowl was a power run game with a vertical passing game, taking those play action, max protect shots. If you've got a guy that runs 4-3, dude, always have a max protect deep look planned in the audibles every single time. I'm telling you this. I play any team that plays man press coverage like we see the Miami Dolphins do a lot. Anytime I see a corner walk down on my guy, I'm telling you, I'm going to give him the shot. That's just the style. Yes, sometimes it doesn't work out, but we saw it works.
So Levi, I am so glad I've met you. You're a Ravens fan. And I want to ask you this question. Like, again, I agree. I like Joe Flacco. I don't know why some people in Baltimore hated him for some reason.
The contract we gave him kind of did destroy our team, to be honest with you.
I want to point this out because a lot of people have been, being a little bit too harsh on Brock, saying he's not a good quarterback. But when Joe Flacco was there during his early years, he had a good defense,
Yep.
and they had a good run game, and so like, I'm not saying that he was carried, but he
kind of was.
I know, but that's a good situation because the reason why I wanted to ask you this is that Joe Flacco looked good, during his time in Baltimore because he had a good team that surrounded him with a great defense, a good run game. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Do you think that it does matter where a quarterback goes? Like, for example, you saw it firsthand, Joe Flacco.
I mean, everyone's got a style they're comfortable with. Joe actually ran a spread offense in college at Delaware. Started at University of Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken, transferred to Delaware, where he actually ran more of a spread offense. Well, of course, when he came to Baltimore, that's not what we were doing. I watched Joe Flacco get drafted 2008 while I was in Disneyland. The Baltimore Ravens have always struggled at the wide receiver position. Coaching, dude, we cannot raise a wide receiver in-house to save our lives. Maybe Zay and Bateman will break that trend for us, but we just do not have the history of it. And I've told Ravens fans, our wide receiver core has not been the same since that Super Bowl run of Anquan, Torrey, and Jacoby, basically. Torrey could take the top off any offense. His hands were basically a 60-40. He dropped a lot of deep balls, but he also made some really clutch ones. Jacoby, Pro Bowl returner, slot player, and Anquan was the solid guy before Dennis Pitta really developed. This is the best team Baltimore's had in a long time, to be honest with you. But it's hard to replace Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed, and Ray Lewis.
So I'm kind of exposing myself right here, but I do have a Joe Flacco Ravens jersey.
Hey, my boy.
Because Jersey native, he's actually literally from my hometown. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for him, but at the same time, it's like the Niners. I'm hoping the best for y'all until you run into us.
When he actually had, I don't think nobody really knows about this. He had like a 2-day stint with the Eagles. I believe it was last year. He had like a 2-day stint to the practice squad, I think, and then we cut him.
Yep, Joe got a lot of hate. a lot of hate, but also Joe also, it's hard for us as fans because, just like I know y'all know all about this, the Trey Lance situation. You can hear and see everything on social media and from the coaches, and it all sounds good. And Trey's posting pictures of him doing this and working out here. I'm telling you guys, I know people like millions of followers on social media personally. Don't believe everything you see on cameras. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those ones. There was questions about Joe Flacco's work ethic in the building, his willingness to maybe work in the off season privately with his wide receivers, things like that. And, we'll never know the truth about it. Our coaches, 49ers especially here, they're not going to be unprofessional in this situation. You never shit talk your players, just like you would never shit talk your coach. It's as simple as that. It's a manner of professionalism. So it's in everything in life. You got to be like, well, who really knows what's going on behind the curtain here? I wish I did. Not saying anything about Trey was But anyone that says Brock Purdy is not him, dude just looks too damn good.
Yeah, and he's definitely a good quarterback, but the only I can attest because I'm a
Brock
fan of
Purdy on 20. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We don't want to admit that he's a good quarterback, but every team literally can say this. The only reason their QB is good is because weapons. That's what's up with my quarterback. Maybe even we can say yours, Levi.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's only one quarterback I can make that argument for, to be honest with you, giving all due respect.
There's only one guy you say doesn't need weapons.
That's Patrick Mahomes.
That's Patrick Mahomes.
Look at last year.
Although his weapons are the refs.
Go ahead.
Think about it. His weapons are the refs. Think about it.
Look at Patrick Mahomes' last 2 games. His weapon, Travis Kelce, hasn't been playing great, and they have lost 2 games in a row.
He's gotten exposed, and the refs aren't really giving him any calls at this point.
So what was the deal last year then? The refs weren't really giving him a bunch of very suspect calls last year. They just traded Tyreek.
Travis Kelce was playing good last year, and Juju Smith-Schuster isn't a great wide receiver, but he's above average.
Yeah.
So right now his wide receiver core, it's average.
New England fans would disagree with you on that one. I got a New England fan that hates him.
So Levi, this was pointed out. This was pointed out to me this week by another content creator who talks NFL football, was telling me that the offensive line of Patrick Mahomes has regressed a little bit, and the receivers that they have are not the levels that he's at in the previous few seasons. And Travis Kelce, I'm not saying Travis Kelce is bad, but his game has kind of dipped a little bit. And so this is always the argument that I have with people who do not understand the quarterback position. You can have the best quarterback, the best talented quarterback. You could have whatever type of skills that make that quarterback, but he still needs weapons. And if he doesn't have the weapons,
what's the Chiefs' record right now?
They're 8-5, which is still a good record.
They're leading the division, 8-5. Travis Kelce has missed a lot of games this season due to injury. No one's going to tell you Kadarius Toney, Scantling, or any of the other wide receivers on that roster are even good. To get to 8-5 by yourself is impressive, and to do it last year with just a tight end and win it all.
I like on that team is
Rashee Rice.
Yep.
That's
the guy. That is the guy on that team.
Yeah, he is. Rookie.
He's wide receiver 1 at this point. Look at the plays he's been making as a rookie. But
he was on my radar for the draft, but he was considered. There was no way he slipped past mid-second round in a lot of people's mocks.
He was also on my radar at some point.
Yeah.
But you also
just like Josh Downs, Colts wide receiver.
Yeah. You also got to think about this. his offensive coordinator isn't there anymore. So Eric Bieniemy isn't there. So that might be taking a toll too, because a lot
That's
of the
very
receivers,
true as well.
I know he had Juju last year, but you can't say one wide receiver. Oh, well, you can, but here's the other thing. He has a lot of the same weapons he had last year. So is this saying that Andy Reid wasn't calling the plays and it was actually Bieniemy?
Isaiah Pacheco hasn't been running quite the same as last year.
Well,
He's not running like he's angry at the ground anymore.
No.
I have Pacheco in fantasy. He's still having a great year.
All right.
He's having some off and on.
For those that don't know, I forgot to set my fantasy football lineup because life stuff was happening, and I didn't even realize I was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I would.
In my one league, I put in guys that are really on the IR, and some of them are on a bye week, and I went 8-5. That says a lot about my fantasy league.
Well, at the end of the day, like, yes, the Chiefs are still 8-5. They're going to the playoffs.
That's all that matters. Getting to the playoffs.
At the same time, like, again, like Patrick Mahomes can like throw a little fit because whatever happened on Monday night or Sunday, whatever the game that happened. At the end of the day,
he did check with the ref too. I don't know if y'all saw that tape.
But again, like I said, you can have the most talented quarterback, but you still need a good receiver to help you out. And again, like I said, I didn't know this. This was just pointed out to me. The offensive line, again, they're not the worst, but they're not what they used to be. Same thing with the receiver core. Those receivers are not Tyreek Hill. Those guys that he had.
Oh yeah, I mean they lost their starting left tackle, and Taylor Lewan was not the answer.
Yeah,
it was a little bit of a head scratcher. I still don't understand how he ended up on the Bengals, and the Bengals took a huge step back beginning of the season. But let me ask y'all. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I also understand. The Chiefs always have a bad draft position in the first round, but a lot of the guys they choose are not good for them.
You have to be able to put some drafts together. Let me ask y'all one word: fact or fiction? Bill Belichick's on the hot seat.
He's on the hot seat. It's a fact. They already came out and said it. Yeah, and if you look at it, a few days ago he was on one of the.
Are you talking about the ring cam?
No. I need to see that though. I didn't hear about that, but he was on like an ESPN show. I don't know, and he was actually smiling and laughing. So
that's unlike Bill.
Unlike Bill. So he must be like,
He's getting that massage like the owner.
Okay. That's a little bit.
No, I think he's actually in like I think he's ready. I think he's done. I think he's like.
I think he goes somewhere.
I know. Yeah,
I think he's going to the I think he's going to the Chargers.
I know it's time for the Patriots to time to move on and focus on the next generation, because their defense, again, I know a Patriots fan, he's very, very like I am basically saying that we are the worst team. He said we're worse than the Panthers. That's how he feels right now.
I thought about the funniest scenario. They fired Josh McDaniels in the Raiders. Bill Belichick replaces Josh McDaniels. And Tom Brady is a part owner of the Raiders. So Brady is now Belichick's boss.
Oh, wow. That would be so hilarious.
What if he went back to Cleveland, though, where his origins were? Cleveland has a fantastic team.
Yeah, McDaniels did get fired. It's Antonio Pierce now.
I know. But what if he went back to Cleveland, which is where he started?
What? Are they gonna move Kevin Stefanski? That's the only thing. Is Stefanski on the hot seat?
Maybe the Panthers give him the bag. R.I.P. to Terror Dome's son, who's a Panthers fan.
Did you say Terradone? Oh yeah, Terradone's son is a Panthers fan.
Yeah, he's got one that's a Ravens fan and one that's a Panthers fan. And I grew up in Myrtle Beach, so the Panthers got a special place in my heart, and it breaks my heart to see what's going on with that team and the owner, David Tepper.
I think that team can definitely be good.
I thought they were going to take the division. They made me look stupid.
And Frank Reich, like he's not a bad coach. He's been on some bad. He's been on the coach when they were bad. He's been.
He went from one bad owner in Irsay to another bad owner in Tepper. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Tepper.
He
Tepper.
He came out. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I don't like Tepper because when he bought the team, because like all right, I'm gonna be really careful. So the previous owner, he got in trouble. He said some stuff he should have been saying. You know, again, people are humans; they make mistakes. He did a very horrible mistake that you can never ever change. But Tepper is a guy from New York. He made his millions in Wall Street, the stock market, and when you have your billions of dollars and you don't know what to do, you buy an NFL football team. And he is a businessman. Basically, he's a business. And what he is trying to do is one thing that's been hurting the Panthers brand is that he's gone through so many quarterbacks already. He's gone through so many coaches in a short amount of time since he's had the team since 2019. And then he fired a coach mid-season who he brought in just this calendar year alone. And he keeps saying that, why are my coaches not doing? He keeps deflecting. This dude, again, I don't like calling people names, but this guy's very egotistical. He's like to put a report verbatim, according to a report, he once handed his offensive coordinator a piece of paper with a play on it midweek and said he'd seen Cleveland run this play this week and he wanted to run it on Sunday. A random play. He was just that, like you said, egotistical, thought he could do every step of that process better than his coaches, his player, like everybody. Yeah. So.
And this is what I was going to say. You gotta, the Panthers, Frank Reich came out and said it. And I know the coaches do have, they have a little bit of the decision in who they're going to take in the draft. And maybe
I would love
Bryce
to be in that war room.
Yeah, I would too. Maybe Bryce Young
watch them fight.
Maybe Bryce Young was the guy they wanted. But
they confirmed their Tepper interfered with their draft plans.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. Tepper was probably.
I don't know if y'all know this. They don't own their first round pick this coming year.
I know.
So despite having the worst record in football, they don't have a first round pick.
I know the Bears have basically the Bears could have the top 4 picks when everything's said and done. We'll see what happens in the last 4 weeks. But
yeah, it's gonna be terrifying.
Like again, I'm not a Panthers fan. I don't cover the Panthers. I know there's a big community in the Panthers fan base. I kind of.
Mike was a part of that. Mike was a part of that fan base.
Okay, hold on, Spudge. So, what Steve Wilkes did with the talent, he basically went 6-6, finishing the year. A smart owner would say, "All right, let's give him, a 2-year contract, a little short to see what he can do the following year."
Wilkes, players loved him.
And people love Steve Wilkes. He came to San Francisco. I remember when we lost 3 games in a row. Oh, Steve Wilkes needs to be fired. Steve Wilkes, I've always had respect for him. When he decided, or when Kyle decided to put him down on the field for whatever the reason, people have mixed emotions about that. But for me, Steve Wilkes is a great coach. He's a smart guy. Everyone respects him. But the problem that what the Cardinals did when he was there, like after 1 year, like they just
another bad owner and organization.
Yeah. So and
sorry.
I don't want to make up, like rumors. I don't want to, make speculation. But the reason why Wilkes came over here was he's like, I want to be here for a couple of years. And then hopefully, the defense is so good that I could get a lot of jobs down the road. I hope that's not true because I want him to stay here long term. But Steve Wilkes, if he does what D'Amico did, maybe after a couple of years, he will probably get another chance with a better team that probably will give him, a better chance. But I think that's why a lot of coaches, that come over here, they're like, oh, this is a good pipeline for us to advance our careers, So, yeah, Steve Wilkes, I think he would have kept the number 9 pick, wouldn't trade up, and they probably would have addressed something much better. I don't know what they would have done with the
quarterbacks that were taken in later rounds are looking pretty good. Aiden O'Connell had a good day for the Raiders.
Yeah.
The kid up in Minnesota has looked pretty good. Tyson Bagent's had his time.
Minnesota, is that Jared Hall in Minnesota?
Yep, Jared Hall, BYU kid. Yep.
Well, here's the thing. He only had a few snaps. I didn't watch his.
One thing though, talking about like the Bears owning a lot of picks, let me give some credit here to Sponge's Eagles. The Eagles and the Ravens, I don't know if you know this, Sponge, our front offices are very close, like very close. Actually, a lot of your staff started in the Ravens organization. There's always just been this level of respect. They coveted Eric DaCosta, our current GM, and Eagles were one of the teams that tried to hire him a long time ago. But the Eagles, what they've been doing in the draft the past few years, if anyone has been paying attention, they always own 2, sometimes even 3 first-round picks. And the thing is this, you will never see a team make 3 first-round picks in 1 year. It's an unwritten rule in the NFL, basically. I shouldn't say always, but basically because they're all on those contracts, it creates too much to take care of whenever all their contracts expire. So usually the unwritten rule is you take no more than 2. And the Eagles, every time, no matter what, current draft picks will always be at a higher pick value than future draft picks. So by constantly trading back every single year and stockpiling picks, the Eagles have done a great job front office wise of being able to bring in players through the draft. Like, it's been a work of art.
And that's one thing.
Sorry to get you started.
that that we do best, yeah. But I really like how we do it because I mean definitely 2 draft picks per year, 2 first-round picks. That's perfect. You can address 2 major situations that you need, especially if you need, say, a linebacker and a corner. There's enough depth where
basically you trade pick 20 for pick 20 next year. It's worth basically a 5th round or maybe even a 4th round, depending on like the level. And just by constantly doing that and then making these little trades 1 to 2 that mean nothing, because who can truly predict the NFL next year? They've stocked up. I feel like we're talking everybody out of the room.
we are.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Brian. I think somebody was about to talk and then I cut them off. I don't know who it was. But just because nobody's talking right now, I got to say this. With the coaching staff that my team decides to hire, we try to go hire like the younger coaches. You know what I mean? Because Sirianni's young. He's 43. He's trying to get people from, I guess you can say, his generation that he can, like Brian Johnson. Okay, I understand. He was already in the organization. Okay, but you go out and get the size. A little bit questionable. But here's the fact of the matter: we had Vic Fangio as an assistant defensive coordinator last year. Why don't you offer him a contract? Because he went out to the Dolphins as their D coordinator. And it is frustrating because you could tell there was a difference last year in the defense. I think that was him influencing Jonathan Gannon. I don't actually think it was Jonathan Gannon. It was Vic Fangio.
Yeah. McNider, you have something to tell us?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, it's getting to be about time to wind it down.
Yeah.
And I have a better offer about to come over, and I need to shower. So,
okay.
My boy.
Yeah. Thought to hit a home run.
But yeah, what do you guys got going on this week? We'll start with Bryant.
Coffee show in the morning. I'll send you the link if you have time. If not, no worries. You have fun and be safe. And tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. And then Tony will have her show, I think, Saturday night. And that's about it. Thanks for having me on, everybody. You guys, man, a lot of fun tonight. Sponge, man, love you, dude. Don't take. We had a good conversation. So I'm not mad or anything. Just want everybody to be respectful. Love you, little dude. But yeah.
John LaJoy, what do you got going on, buddy?
I'm going to be doing the play-by-play on Sunday at about 12:30 for the 49ers and the Cardinals game.
Have fun.
Oh yeah.
That does sound like fun. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming the game. I kind of like watching him. I'm not going to lie, But Levi, what do you got going on over there on Darwin's Ravens, folks?
We're of course going to be calling. We got Sunday night football this week, so we're looking forward to that. We're trying to do more on the channel here. We're always trying to do it. And if you don't know, guys, Lamar is only about 134 yards away from passing his career high in passing yards. So Lamar having an all-time career year this year. So you can come join us Sunday, 8:20, and look forward to more content.
Sweet. But you, little Sponge, you going to be opening up some cards?
No, so I'm thinking of starting something on my channel. It's not card related, it is sports related. I am thinking of making a podcast. And I want to have guests on. You guys are welcome on. I'll figure out to do a show with maybe we can have multiple people on at once. And one time, if this is still going on towards draft time, I want to have a draft stream, and all of us could be on. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'll definitely be live.
I'll be figuring out all this StreamYard stuff. So, yeah.
All right. John Jay, what you got, buddy?
Basically, of course, Sunday, stream the game. I'm gonna have a panel like always. I'm gonna keep it a little bit, not too many, because the last time I had a big panel, everyone was talking over each other and they were like, talking smack. So it's basically just gonna be like gotta
have that mute button ready.
3 people at the most. And after that, of course, Monday, the day after the game, and then just continue the content during the week. And that's what happens on my channel. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate you, David McNiner.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, guys. We're part of a fantastic fan base in the NFL. The Niner faithful. We're great. We don't throw batteries or anything at anybody.
Beer bottles.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
I had to get a shot in. But it's time for us to go.
I'd like to report shots fired.
As Corey Davis would always say, go Niners and F all the 31 other teams.
Go